Hey, 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 beautiful souls. I am back with another one. I don't want to say this is like part two. I want to say maybe a continuation for unhealed childhood traumas because this is such a deep subject with a lot of layers that you got to just keep pulling back and pulling back and pulling back. And it may take several, I say onions. If you pull back those layers, it may take several onions for us to get down to the nitty gritty. So I'm not going to be on here long tonight because I got other things to do. Um, but I just want to say that unhealed childhood traumas, like I said, I feel like that's one of the biggest threats to our society, especially when it comes to abuse, domestic violence. But I also want to say that unhealed childhood traumas don't have to be that traumatic. They can be very simple that can cause you some insecurities that has nothing to do with abuse that you can carry on into adulthood. And some of the things, when I wrote my book in relations to my sister's abuse, it was a healing journey, as I tell people all the time. That book was like the beginning of my healing journey. For one, the case was closed, so I was able to start healing. It was a healing journey not only for getting over the death of my sister or helping me heal from her traumatic tragedy, but it was also healing for me because it made me evaluate our childhood coming up together. You know, we were foster children. We're biological sisters, and we grew up together all the way until our adulthood. And we were the only two, we were the youngest of eight. And we grew up, I'm so glad we did grow up together because at least I got to identify with a biological family member growing up. So I really knew my sister very well. Um, and it was really painful for me to lose her. So, but it made me evaluate our emotions, our feelings as I wrote this book. And that's when I began to get an eye opening on how childhood traumas, if they are unhealed, how they will show up in your life. It can show up in your life mentally, physically, emotionally, body illnesses, um, everything. And when you don't heal, you you don't have to keep a secret because it's going to show up. It's going to show up anyway, some kind of way, mentally, emotionally, through your body illnesses. You know, it's going to show up. And I have learned a lot on this journey. Um, I can remember in nursing school, um, learning about Maslow hierarchy, right? And I did put that in my book, Maslow hierarchies, uh, Maslow hierarchy of needs. And I hate that it came out so small. I was doing my best to try to get this print bigger, and I just could not. So I hope people have been able to read it. But there is 5 levels of that. And Maslow hierarchy, I'm gonna I'm gonna read what AI have said about it. Well, let's do Wikipedia. Maslow hierarchy of needs is a conceptualization of the needs that motivate human behavior, which was proposed by the American psychologist Abraham Maslow. According to Maslow's original formulation, there are 5 sets of basic needs that are related to each other in a hierarchy prepotency. So let me read what AI said about it. Okay. Maslow hierarchy of needs is a theory describing 5 levels of human needs, ordered from basic survival to self-fulfillment, including physiological needs, safety, love and belonging, esteem, and self-actualization. The theory suggests individuals must meet lower level needs to progress and be motivated by higher level ones. Through this rigid progression has faced criticism and alternative models exist. I don't know what that means exactly, exist. But the 5 levels of needs are physiological needs, which is the most basic needs required for survival, such as food, water, shelter, sleep, and warmth. Safety needs is next. Security of body, employment, resources, and a feeling of protection with others. Love and belonging needs. The need for friendship, family, intimacy, and a self of connection with others. Esteem needs. Self-esteem, respect, status, recognition, and the feeling of accomplishment and self-worth. Self-actualization, the desire to become the best version of oneself, realizing one's full potential and living one's ideal life. Okay, so at this time when I wrote this book, which was in 2019, it took me 9 months to birth this baby. 9 months, so I literally had a baby. And at that time, I was like, because I learned about Maslow hierarchy when I was in college, when I was in nursing school. And I was like, oh my gosh, when I started really digging deep into my family history and the lack of love, certain things, love and belonging, abandonment, all these things, that I was able to look through the eyes of my sister's death. And also as it related to me and what I needed to start doing to heal my childhood injuries or my childhood pains or whatever. I was like, okay, because I understood Maslow hierarchy from school. But as time went on, I was like, because I began, not you, I began to have a little bit more and more awakening. I started having an awakening after her death. And but as time went on, I learned about the chakras. And what I learned about the chakras, which is CHAKRA, Because I'm really surprised when I talk about chakras how many people my age don't know anything about chakras. And I'm like, really? So, because that's something that they don't want us to know. And that's something that they did not teach us in school. My husband is so loud. He gets so much into those games. He's downstairs. So if y'all hear somebody screaming and making noise, that's my husband watching the game. Okay, so common chakras are like, there's 7 common chakras, okay? So after I learned about the chakras, I was like, this is where Maslow got some of his information. Okay. I mean, I don't know that for sure, but the chakras are more aligned with nature, the natural flow of things. So he just took that and made it his own. But the chakras are more in line with Mother Nature, the natural flow of things. So, chakras are vital centers of spiritual power in the human body, a smooth and free flowing energy from one chakra to another, or one part of the body to the next. Okay? It's like the Kundalini energy is what the Jacob ladder is in the Bible, you know. Once you start understanding the Bible more, you will see how the Bible is truly related to our body parts. They took the Bible and made it very religious versus spiritual. And, I've asked God to teach me thy way. Teach me thy way, O Lord. Help me to understand. And it's very esoteric. It's very esoteric. So, I am grateful for what I am learning on a spiritual level, and how it has helped me to release my childhood injuries, my childhood pain, my childhood traumas, and how our childhood really shapes our adulthood. And it's really up to us to decide whether we're going to stay stuck in our pain, or we're going to find ways to heal in our pain, so we can start reaching our self-actualization, or it's our self-actualization, or the highest version of ourselves. Let's put it like that. So a lot of times when you operating in a domestic violence, or you are attached in a domestic violence situation, you are usually operating at a lower version of yourself, because you have not healed from certain things in your life. So, with the Maslow hierarchy, you are in the physiological parts, the safety, and the love and belonging. You're operating from those levels when it's in the negative. You're operating safety, love, and belonging in the psychological, on the negative spectrum of it. And then if you want to look at the chakras, the root chakra, think about root. That's in the ground. That's the root. So the root chakra, the sacral chakra, and the solar plexus. Those are like the three lower chakras. And sometimes when they are out of whack or out of balance, out of alignment, you can get a lot of blockage. And so grounding, it relates to, the root chakra relates to feeling unsecure, unstable, not safe. You're in a survivor mode. It affects your sexual energy. You have anxiety, fear, self-doubt, low energy, depression, feeling ungrounded, physical, and your emotion, your spiritual and physical emotions are just unbalanced. You can have low back pain, hip pain, spine, because this is all in your lower body. Urination, kidneys, all of that kind of stuff. So it's so much more I can go into, but I just want to give you a highlight. And that's the root chakra is red. So those are the things that, and the mantra for your root chakra is I am. I am. Which brings blood flow for alignment. So that's why it's important to know what I am. Anything that comes after I am, the universe only says yes. It only says yes. So it can be negative or positive. So that's where it's very important to speak life into yourself. Okay, so then we have the sacral chakra, which is orange, and that's your feelings. It's located below the navel. It's your creative side. It's your desire to succeed. It's passion and pleasure. It governs the stomach. It's male and female organs, prostate, testes. So just know, like, if you got cancer in those parts, that means that sacral chakra is blocked. It's not flowing. The energy is not flowing through there. So those are things that can happen. Other things like emotional, explosive, sexual manipulation, which occurs a lot in domestic violence, impotence, menstrual cramps, infertility, low back pain, stiffness, numbness, or you can also have an over sexually active. That's another blockage. So your sacral chakra is your feelings. So, I feel. It's your creative. Like if you are a creative person and you feel like you're not able to create sometime, you could have a blockage going on, or, the energy is not flowing. So there are all types of things that you can do to unblock your chakras. So I would get more into that. But like your solar plexus, that's yellow. That's like the sunshine. That's I can. It's the city of gems. And it's located in the upper abdomen. It's behind the stomach in front of the aorta, which is your heart. It's part of your personality, your identity, the center of your willpower. And that's another thing. When you're in a domestic violence situation, you lose your personality, you lose your identity, you lose your willpower. You forget who you are. It's your who am I. It's your ego. It's your identity. It's your confidence. It's your practical disposition, your ability to use one's intelligence in an effective manner. And when that is blocked, especially in a domestic violence situation, you can't think effectively. It's like this person has really knocked you off your balance. Like I said, it's like the sunshine is sparkling, radiant, golden sunshine that beams from your solar plexus. It's associated with your digestion, your personal power, your laughter, your anger and seat of the liver, Chinese medicine. When it's unbalanced, you can get liver disease, ulcers, pancreatitis, depression, diabetes, and excessive worry, emotional pain. It governs the liver, the spleen, the small intestines. So it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. So those are just the three that I just went over. And I wanted to give my room, this is my beautiful creation studio. So I wanted to make sure that I incorporated the chakra colors. So this is why I made this. Because I want to be balanced in my chakras. So the red is always on the bottom. And then here, you may not see the orange good, but there is some orange in there. And then here's the yellow. And then the green is the heart. The blue is your voice, and the purple is your third eye. So it's a mix of I think it's like the white, but there's no white in this one. But this is how your chakras align in colors. So you want to make sure that you are keeping your energy flowing and going through your body properly. So of course it is the rainbow colors as well. But for the chakras, they go this way. This is the way they go. The rainbow is the other way around. The colors are the other way around. So getting into the energy of the rainbow as it aligns with you on a holistic level as to where your energy should align. Okay. So this is why I thought it was important for me when I come into my room. Like, my room is very colorful. I got my fabric in one shade in each little square box, and it's just really, really cute, and I love it. And it just brings my red chairs. It just brings a fresh, and it keeps me in a creative space. So it's so much I can go into the chakras about, but I'm just going to leave it there at just some basics right now. But your chakras are very, very, very important in alignment, as well as energy flow, and just keeping your mind, your body in a certain alignment. So I just wanted to highlight that. So Maslow hierarchy is okay, but when I found out about the chakras, I wish I could have incorporated that in my book, because they make so much more sense to me. So with all that being said, is Something that you can start doing. You can start evaluating how you felt as a child. What are some things that happened in your life as a child that made you feel insecure, that carried on into your adulthood? So, some things that I wrote down was abandonment. Because, for one, I was a foster child. And by no means am I blaming my parents or anything like that. But it happened. So people don't understand, like, when your parents, you don't even have to know your parents or ever met your parents, but I've heard people say, like, if they didn't know, they said it was always something that I felt. I just felt something. I just felt that I was the oddball out in my family, or I just felt something strange, because that stuff is very strong in your bloodline. So abandonment was one of my issues. So with abandonment, you feel insecure. You have a loss of identity. Um, you feel like you're not loved. You don't feel that unconditional love. I had a lack of confidence. I had a lot of insecurity. I know for many, many years, growing up, I had acne, and even into adulthood, like old adulthood. And if y'all don't believe that your body, you got cancer or um, um, some type of, all your illnesses are related to some type of emotion. All your illnesses are related to some type of emotions. You got heart conditions. You got kidney disease. You got liver problems. You got heart disease. You got a lump. You got cancer. Those things are related to untapped emotions, unhealed emotions. Those things develop in your body physically. So, arthritis, that's related to criticism. Acne, I had acne, that's related to insecurity, non-confidence. I wasn't confident for many, many years. Um, but like I said, so I'm on my healing journey. So I'm asking, I'm like, y'all come on along with me. I may not have been in like a physical or a domestic violence situation, but I have been in relationships, whether they were like a romantic relationships. I've been in relationships where they wasn't physical or anything like that to me, but they may have did things that you allowed, like um maybe they cheated on you and you allowed it, or maybe you did more in the relationship than they did. Just simple things like that. um so it don't have to be necessarily like they abused me and they did this to me. Those are things that you allow because you felt insecure. um or you didn't find yourself worthy. What else I was gonna say? Oh, it could be simple things like when you was in elementary school or something, somebody was like, "Ooh, you ugly," or "You got nappy hair," or "You got big bug eyes," or "You got cocoa bottle glasses." Just something stupid that bother you all your life. that bothered you all your life. You short, you tall, you got big feet, whatever. Just stuff that children say mean to you, and so it affected you. So, like I said, don't always have to be like you got your insecurities that you need to heal from that because somebody and you got into a relationship. It don't have to be like that. Or you can just have or things that your parents said to you growing up, like you're fat, you need to go on a diet, or anything that just made you feel, or your parents could have been alcoholics and they cuss you out every day. Just all types of stuff that develops in us, and it is shaped, our adulthood is shaped by our childhood. So, that's life. But once you get a certain age, you cannot blame anyone else for your insecurities or what you're going through, because it is time for you to take accountability and be like, okay, what can I do to release these things off of me? And I'm just going to, let's see which one I can share. Okay, I think this is a good one. It's time to start releasing. It's time to start releasing. And here is one that says, I release defeating thoughts of helplessness. A lot of times when you're in a domestic violence situation, you feel helplessness. And you don't have to be in a domestic violence relationship to feel helplessness. I mean, I felt helplessness. Like I said, relationship, it can be any type of relationship. It can be relationships with your parents. It can be relationships with your friends. It can be relationships with anyone that can make you feel like you're nobody. So it makes you feel helplessness. But at the end of the day, no one can really make you feel that way, because it's all in what you tell yourself. Because you're with yourself 24 hours a day. You're with yourself 24 hours a day. So when you look in the mirror or when you look in the camera, what are you saying to yourself? Are you saying what you heard about yourself? And you're beginning to believe what you heard about yourself? You have to rescript your life so you can begin to release those negative thoughts and things that people have said. It's time. It's well over time. So what you need to do is write down all the things that are affecting you negatively in your mind. And then you need to start saying, I release. Write those down individually. Or you can write them all down on one sheet of paper. And you start to burn. Because you're going to alchemize that negative energy about yourself to change the trajectory of your life. I release defeating thoughts of helplessness. Because that's what domestic violence individuals feel. You're going to release that. And then you're going to start saying things and writing things the opposite of that. Because your tongue is your sword. Your pen, your pencil is your sword. So you're going to write the opposite in a positive way of this. And you're going to repeat it to yourself. You're going to read it. because this would be related to the root chakra. You know, your love, belonging, your helplessness, all of that. That's like the bottom. You're gonna pull up all those. You can't plant nothing on top of dead roots. Those roots are there. They're no good, but they are just growing a lot of weeds. I was out in my garden today, and I was just like pulling up those dead. It's finna be winter. The summer's over, and I was pulling up those dead roots because they're no good no more. And so when the spring comes, I need to be planting something new, so my garden can be beautiful, blossoming. And it's tons of weeds out there. I mean, so this is how things can fester when you just let them things more and more things build on top of the weeds. More and more weeds come. So you got to start pulling up those weeds because they just fester. And they grow more and they spread. So once you start pulling them up, pull that root so you can get some new roots on fertile soil, fertile grounds. So that's just some basics. I don't want to go too deep into it, but that's how you can start chopping away those unhealed childhood traumas. And you must release. To build anew, you got to release. You know, because some of that was built on sinking sand. It didn't have no foundation. You didn't have no foundation. So you got to pull that stuff up and build a whole new foundation. You have to become the best version of yourself. And it takes time. But as you can see, Maslow hierarchy both says self-actualization and the root, not the root, and the chakras overall. You know, when you get to that third eye, you know, that is third eye, the crown chakra. When you start getting to those levels of clearing out, you getting into higher consciousness. You know, higher consciousness. So, divine knowledge. So, that's what we're going to be working on. That's what I've been working on. And my God, it's an amazing journey because it's going to put you in so much alignment. It's going to put you in divine alignment, which is, it's an amazing journey. It's an amazing journey. You become a magnet because your energy, your frequency is just on a whole nother level. A whole nother level. You see, a lot of people are not going to tell you these things. They're not going to tell you these things because they want you to be at a certain level where you're dependent. Or either they don't know. But once you learn these things, you know, we've been taught in this dense third dimension that there's always a middleman. The chakras are getting tapped within yourself. You are more powerful than you will ever know. You're so powerful. So powerful. So we will get more and more into healing ourselves. It's a journey. There is levels to this shit. But we gotta start shifting. We gotta start shifting. We in a whole nother timeline. We in a whole nother the new earth is being created. We are in the matriarch and we are in the Aquarian age. We're gone out of the patriarch. We're no longer in the Pisces. Those times are over. Those systems are dead. We walking in freedom, baby. We're walking in freedom. Freedom is the movement. And if you're relying on systems in a survivor mode to save your life, you're in trouble. Okay? You are in trouble. It is time for you to unmute. It is time to release the silence in your voice. Because we are shifting. We in a whole nother quantum leaping. We're quantum leaping. We are quantum leaping. And it's not physical. It's not hard work. It's not physical hard work. So it's time to get your mind and your heart. Your mind and your heart. My heart is on this side. Your mind and your heart right, which is the green chakra. So it's time to get your heart right. You know, the earth has been moving. You know, there's a reset going on. It's their reset, and then there's Mother Nature reset. And if you notice, a lot of people have had heart problems. Because, see, she's resetting the heart of the earth. So, what's going on with you internally? We are collective consciousness. And what's going on internally with you is a reflection of what's going on in the earth realm. So, it's time to shift, guys. You don't need no middleman. The power is within you. In everything. In everything. So this is why those systems are falling. Because Mother Nature, the matriarch, Mother Earth, the Most High, is throwing the ball back in your court. But I've said enough tonight. So my name is Cassandra, but they shine. And it is through our voices and stories that we can help or inspire others to become survivors. Have a great night.